Don't embarrass us with your cheap taste, my sister whispered at her luxurious engagement gala. So I showed up in a giant hot dog costume. Guests gasped, and she screamed, "Get out." I smiled, took a bow, and said, happy to leave. The next morning, I canceled her $24,000 honeymoon package, blocked her card, and revealed her private messages to her fiancé. 83 missed calls, she begged, he disappeared, and then she knew. Don't you dare embarrass us with your cheap taste. Lily's voice was a sharp whisper, her manicured nails digging into my arm. Her smile never wavered as she turned back to the photographer, her perfect profile catching the golden light of the chandelier. I stood there, frozen, surrounded by a sea of glittering gowns and designer suits. I shouldn't have been surprised. It was her engagement gala, a $40,000 spectacle of luxury and pretense, paid for with money I had quietly funneled into her account over the past year. Cheap taste? Lily, I paid for. I tried to speak, but her fingers tightened, her smile stretching even wider. Be quiet, she hissed, her voice dripping with venom. I don't care what you paid for. Just stay out of sight. Smile when you're asked to. And for God's sake, don't speak. Her fiancé, Colin, was laughing with his friends a few feet away, oblivious. My parents were by the bar, my mother's laughter echoing through the hall, my father's hand resting on her shoulder, proud. Of her. Of Lily. Never of me. Smile, Lily, the photographer called. Lily's fingers released my arm as if I was something dirty, something she didn't want clinging to her. She turned, radiant, her laughter a perfect performance. I stared at her, feeling the cold knot of humiliation tighten in my chest. I should have left, but I didn't. Hey, you okay? A voice pulled me back. James, one of Colin's friends, stood there, holding a glass of champagne. Your sister's intense, huh? I forced a smile. You have no idea. James laughed, oblivious. But I saw the pity in his eyes. They all saw it. I was the family shadow, the one who always helped, always paid, always stayed quiet. Until that moment. I slipped away, walking past the sea of glitter and gold, through the marble hallways of the hotel. My fingers trembled as I typed on my phone, the plan forming faster than my heartbeat. An hour later, the ballroom doors burst open. A hush swept through the crowd. I stepped in, wearing a giant hot dog costume, complete with a soft, fluffy bun around me, a bright red sausage suit, and a zigzag of fake mustard running down the middle. Laughter exploded, some shocked, some nervous. Lily's smile vanished. Her eyes widened, her hand covering her mouth. My parents stared, frozen. Colin looked like he was caught between laughing and dying of embarrassment. Ladies and gentlemen, I called, my voice booming across the hall. A toast to the happy couple. To Lily, who taught me that family isn't just about love, it's about appearances. And to Colin, who's about to learn that the prettiest roses have the sharpest thorns. Get out. Lily's voice shattered the room, a shriek that cut through the laughter. Her face was red, twisted with fury. Get out. You ruin everything. I'm just following your advice, Lily, I said, bowing low, the foam of the costume bending with me. Not embarrassing you with my cheap taste. I turned and walked out. Laughter, gasps, whispers, her perfect night cracking like glass. But I wasn't done. At dawn, as the first light crept through my window, my phone buzzed with 42 missed calls from Lily. Then Mom. Then Dad. I watched them, one by one, without answering. Finally, I dialed the first number on my list. Hello, Windward Resorts? I spoke calmly, hiding the grin that spread across my face. I need to cancel a honeymoon package. Yes, the one for Lily Carter. No, it won't be rescheduled. The second call was even simpler. Her credit card. Frozen. And then, I opened the folder I'd kept for weeks. Screenshots. Private messages. Her desperate, cruel words about Colin, mocking his family, laughing about how she was just using him to climb the social ladder. I sent them to Colin. 2 hours later, another call from Lily. Her voice was raw, shaking. How could you? Please, I'll do anything. Just talk to me. I didn't answer. I let her words die in the silence. And as I sipped my coffee, watching the sun rise over the city, I felt something new. Not just anger. Not just revenge. Freedom. I watched the sunrise spilling golden light over the city, the warmth creeping into my tiny apartment. My phone kept buzzing on the table, 42 missed calls from Lily, dozens more from my parents. I didn't answer. Not a single one. I let them drown in their own desperation, sipping my coffee in the quiet. But the silence was an illusion. It shattered just after noon with a furious, frantic knock on my door. When I opened it, my mother stood there, her face pale, her eyes red and swollen. She didn't even bother with a greeting. "You're destroying your sister," she whispered, her voice cracking with a mix of anger and fear. "I'm just setting things right," I replied, cold and calm. "She's your sister." Her voice rose, hands trembling. "You've always been selfish. It was always easy for you. But for her, easy." I laughed, the sound sharp and bitter. "She spent years using me, my money, my time, my help, and you praised her for it. But now that I refuse to be her silent supporter, I'm the problem. Don't you dare twist this," she cried. "Lily is suffering. Colin is devastated. You've turned her life into a nightmare." "She did that herself," I shot back. "By lying to him. By lying to all of you. And you believed every word because that's what you always do. Because she's your sister." Mom's voice broke. "And you've always been cruel. I protected you. I always stood up for you." "Protected me?" I took a step closer, the anger simmering beneath my skin. "You stood by while she drained my accounts, lied to my face, and called me nothing but a walking wallet. And now, when she's finally paying for it, you blame me." Tears welled in her eyes. "She didn't mean it. She's just lost." "No, she's not lost. She's a master manipulator, and you're her perfect audience." Her slap came fast, a sharp crack that left my cheek stinging. Silence wrapped around us. For a moment, I saw regret in her eyes, then just pain. "I wish I'd never come here," she whispered, turning and walking away. I closed the door, the stinging in my cheek nothing compared to the burning in my chest. For a long moment, I just stood there, breathing. My heart hammered in my chest, anger twisting and coiling tighter. But I wasn't done. I wasn't even close. That evening, I slipped quietly into the hotel where Lily and Colin were staying. I knew they'd be there. My mother's pleading voice on the phone earlier had given me enough hints. The elevator doors opened, and I stepped out onto the third floor, walking silently down the thickly carpeted hall. I was almost at their room when I heard it, Lily's voice, muffled but sharp. "I don't care what he says, Colin," she hissed. "He's always been jealous. Always trying to ruin my life. I warned you about him." "Lily," Colin's voice was softer, shaky. "But why would he cancel the honeymoon? And those messages? I saw them." "Oh my God, you believe that?" Lily's voice was a forced laugh. "He faked them, Colin. He's obsessed with me. He can't stand that I'm happy. Please, you have to trust me. He's sick. He needs help." I leaned closer, pressing myself against the wall beside the door. My jaw clenched. I don't know, Lily." He seemed so calm. Like he wasn't even angry, just because he's a manipulator, she cried. "That's what he does. He plays the victim. He's always been that way. And now he's trying to turn you against me." I could hear Colin's hesitant footsteps, his sigh. "Maybe. I need some air. I need to think." "No." Her voice was desperate now, sharp claws of panic. "Colin, please don't leave. I can't lose you." Not because of him. There was a long, heavy silence. Then the door clicked, and I heard Colin's footsteps growing faint down the hallway. I slipped around the corner just in time, watching him disappear into the elevator. I stayed, waiting. My blood was boiling. She was still lying, twisting the truth, making me the villain. But I wasn't just angry. I was done being her pawn. I pulled out my phone, turned on the voice recorder, and waited. It took half an hour before I heard it again. Lily's voice, this time on a phone call. "I swear, he's trying to ruin everything," she spat, the venom thick in her voice. "But it doesn't matter. Colin isn't fool. I can handle him. My parents will never take his side. They always protect me." A pause. Then her voice softened, sickly sweet. "No, you don't get it. My brother has always been a loser. I can make him look crazy. I've done it before. It's just harder now because he's fighting back." My hand trembled with rage. She hadn't just lied to Colin. She'd been planning this, playing everyone against me. But now I had her. I leaned in, watching the door. My breath was steady, my heart beat a thunder in my ears. And then, as if fate was on my side, the door swung open. Lily stepped out, phone still pressed to her ear. "Yeah, I'll call you later. I just have to fix this mess." She didn't see me. Not until I was right behind her. "Fixing another mess, Lily?" I whispered. She spun, her face going white. What are you doing here?" "Listening." I held up my phone, still recording. "It's amazing what you hear when you're quiet." Her face twisted, rage overtaking fear. "You have no idea what you're doing." "I do. I'm ending this." I turned and walked away, leaving her standing there, fury radiating off her like heat. but I needed more. Her lies were a fortress, but now I had the first crack. I drove straight to my parents' house. The lights were on, and as I stepped out of the car, I heard voices. Laughter. Through the open window, I saw them, Mom and Dad at the dinner table, and Lily. Her tears gone, her smile perfect, her voice charming as ever. "He's just having another one of his episodes," she was saying, cutting her steak like it was the most normal evening in the world. "I feel bad for him, but we can't keep letting him ruin everything." Dad shook his head, his voice a deep, disappointed sigh. "I always knew he'd turn out like this. Trouble from the start." Mom just nodded, giving that familiar, sad smile. "We just have to be there for you, Lily. He'll come around eventually." I stepped back into the shadows, the darkness swallowing me whole. They had already chosen their side. I was the enemy, but I was done being the shadow. The wind swept gently across the open field by the lake, the water shimmering under the warm, lazy sunlight. The picnic table stood beneath an old oak tree, covered with a checkered red and white cloth. Plates were lined with all my childhood favorites: crispy fried chicken, buttery mashed potatoes, warm apple pie cooling in the breeze. I stood a few feet away, watching them. Lily, perfect in her white summer dress, her smile wide but her eyes sharp. Mom, fussing over the dishes, her forced cheerfulness palpable. Dad, leaning against the tree, arms crossed, his face a mix of impatience and barely hidden disdain. Colin sat at the edge, looking at his shoes, his expression tight. Lily waved. "Oh, there you are. Come on, don't be a stranger." I walked closer, my footsteps silent on the soft grass. The air smelled sweet, but it was a lie, just like them. "Look, I know things got a little messy," Lily began, her voice syrupy sweet, "but we're family. We wanted to do something nice, to make things right." "Yeah, we're family," Dad muttered, not even looking at me. "Families stick together. We don't throw each other under the bus." I didn't respond. I looked at Colin, whose gaze flickered nervously to Lily, then back to the lake. He didn't seem so convinced. "Sit down," Mom urged, pushing a plate towards me. "It's all your favorites." We thought it might help." I sat, but I didn't touch the food. Lily's voice turned delicate, almost mournful. "I know you were hurt, but I was just overwhelmed. The engagement, the planning, maybe I overreacted." "Overreacted?" I echoed, my voice cold. Interesting choice of words. She forced a laugh, a little too high-pitched. "Oh, come on. Don't be dramatic. We're here to make peace." "Peace." I leaned forward, my gaze locked on her. "Or a confession?" Lily's smile froze. Her eyes darted to Dad, who instantly stepped in. "Stop it," he snapped. "You're ruining everything again. This was supposed to be a chance for you to apologize." "Me?" I laughed. "I see. I'm the villain. Lily is the victim. I'm the problem." "Of course. Because you are," Dad barked, his hand slamming on the table. "You humiliated your sister. You embarrassed us. Everyone's talking about it." "Oh, I know," I said, pulling out my phone. "Everyone's been talking. Especially Lily." Her face paled. What do you mean?" "I mean, I've been listening. I've been hearing the truth you didn't want anyone else to know." I tapped the screen, and her voice filled the quiet field. "Colin isn't fool. I can handle him. My parents will never take his side. They always protect me." Her own voice, venomous and sharp, drifted across the picnic, the breeze unable to carry it away. Colin's head snapped up, his face drained of color. "Lily, what is this?" "It's a lie," she shrieked, lunging for my phone, but I stepped back, holding it high. "You faked that. You're trying to ruin me." "Am I?" I pressed play again. "My brother has always been a loser. I can make him look crazy. I've done it before." The words struck like a slap. Lily's face contorted, her eyes wide, wild. "Turn that off," Dad roared, his face flushed. "Stop this nonsense." But I wasn't done. "You want nonsense? Listen to this." I swiped again. "I warned you about him, Colin. He's obsessed with me. He needs help." The recording echoed, clear and damning. Colin stood up, his fist clenched. You told me he tried to ruin our relationship. That he threatened you." "He did," she screamed. "He's manipulating all of this." "It's not true." "Really?" I reached into my backpack and pulled out a neatly printed folder, tossing it on the table. "Read them, Colin. Texts, screenshots. Her real thoughts about you, your family, all of it." Colin's hands trembled as he flipped through the pages. His face turned ashen, his breathing quickened. "Lily, you called my mom someone she looked down on, wishing they would disappear." Lily's mouth opened, then closed. "That was a joke." You know I didn't mean it. Oh, you meant it, I said. You meant every word. And here's more. I tapped my phone again. I swear, if my brother doesn't shut up, I'll make sure everyone thinks he's a psycho. I can always fake a few tears. Mom will believe anything I say. Lily's perfect world was unraveling. Liar, she shrieked, her face twisting with rage. You're a liar. You faked all of this. I did. I leaned in, my voice a whisper. Shall we call your friends? Your podunk little gossip group? Or maybe your ex, Sarah, who you laughed about stealing money from. Her eyes went wide, her lips trembling. You wouldn't. Oh, I already did. I pulled out another folder, tossing it at her. A sworn statement from Sarah, confirming that you stole her phone and used it to message her boyfriend. I have a lot more. Want to keep going? Stop this. Mom's voice broke, tears streaming down her face. You're tearing us apart. No. I corrected, my voice ice cold. I'm showing you what you always refused to see. Your perfect daughter? She's a liar. A manipulator. And you chose her over me every single time. Because you're jealous. Dad thundered, rising to his feet. She's better than you. Always has been. I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. Better? At what? Lying? Using you? Stealing? Colin shoved the folder away, his face a mask of fury and disgust. I can't believe I ever. You're a monster, Lily. He ripped off his engagement ring, throwing it at her feet. We're done. No. Colin, please. She lunged for him, but he stepped back. Stay away from me. His voice was empty, his eyes cold. You're poison. Lily's face twisted, and suddenly she turned on me, her hands clawing at the air. You did this. You ruined everything. Ruined? I stepped back, watching her crumble. No. I revealed. Dad grabbed her, pulling her back. Get out, he spat at me. You've caused enough damage. I smiled, reaching for the last piece of pie on the table, wrapping it in a napkin. Sure. But just remember, this is the only thing I'm taking with me. Everything else was never mine. I walked away, their shouts, their screams, fading behind me. As I reached the edge of the field, I saw Colin leaning against his car, staring at the lake. He looked at me, pain and confusion twisting his face. Why? He whispered. Why did you do it? I met his gaze, the weight of years finally lifting from my shoulders. Because silence would have been a lie, and I'm done living in their story. I got in my car, the wind carrying the shattered echoes of a family built on lies. And for the first time, I felt free. The morning after the explosive picnic, I thought it was over. I was wrong. At 7 a.m., my phone rang. The name on the screen surprised me, Grandma. Sweetheart, I've heard everything. Her voice was calm but sharp. Your parents are trying to make you the villain. I don't care anymore. I sighed. I'm just glad it's over. It's not over, she insisted. Not until they pay back everything they stole from you. Grandma, I didn't do this for money. I just wanted them to stop using me. And they won't unless you make them pay. I'm coming over. An hour later, she was in my kitchen, her sharp eyes scanning the room. Show me everything you spent on them. I opened my banking app and showed her the years of payments. Lily's wedding, $24,000. Dad's debts, $12,000. Monthly support, over $30,000. Her jaw tightened. Disgusting. They used you. But it ends today. That afternoon, Grandma called for a family meeting at her house. When I arrived, they were already there. Lily, pale, Mom, fidgeting, Dad, pacing. Finally decided to face us? Dad sneered. I didn't respond. I sat beside Grandma, her gaze cutting through the tension. I've seen the proof, she began, voice cold. You three have used him like an ATM. That stops now. Mom, please, Lily's voice was sweet. He's just overreacting. Be quiet. Grandma's voice was ice. If you don't repay him every cent he spent on you, I will change my will. You will get nothing. Mom's face went pale. Mom, you can't. Oh, I can. I won't leave a penny to those who take advantage of family. Lily's eyes filled with tears. But Grandma, you lied. You manipulated. And you will pay for it. Dad grumbled, crossing his arms. This is a family matter. He's just trying to divide us. I'm opening her eyes, I said. You did this to yourselves. Enough. Grandma's voice silenced the room. Return his money, or lose everything. Driven by desperation, Dad rushed to his study. Mom followed, and Lily stared blankly at the table. Half an hour later, Dad returned with his checkbook, his hand shaking. Here, he spat, tossing the check at me. Take it. I didn't destroy this family, I replied. You did. Lily's voice broke. Grandma, please. I'm watching you learn consequences, Grandma said coldly. I picked up the check, folded it, and stood. I'm done here. I walked out, Grandma's silent presence like a shield at my back. That night, I sat by my window, a cup of tea warming my hands. For the first time in years, I wasn't thinking about them. My phone buzzed. A message from Grandma. Proud of you. Don't look back. Love, Grandma. I smiled. They were gone. Their lies, their control, all of it. I didn't do this for revenge. I did it for freedom, my own freedom from their lies and manipulation. And as I watched the sunrise spilling light over the city, I finally felt it, peace.